Welcome to Search for Signs. My name is Gary Willing. If this information interests you, please press the like and subscribe button and press the bell for notifications. Now, for the last month and a half or so, I've been putting videos up about Maitreya, who and what I think the Christ is, miracle signs, UFOs, those kind of things. And it's to be expected. I'm not really here to talk about myself or these videos, but it's to be expected that the viewers and the viewership on my videos are pretty low. I'm a realist. I know that, I'm not Ariana Grande or somebody like that, so why would I get 1 billion views on my videos, right? I'm perfectly content with the viewership of my videos, and it gives me great joy to give these, to do these videos, to talk about my side of the story and stuff. But my point is, not about me, but my point is, if you look at the videos out there, and let's just to say, go, if you're, next time you're on YouTube or search Christ or Jesus Christ, right? And you have people like Benjamin Creme talking about the review of the Christ and how he's here to change the world for the better. And then you might see some religious views on that or whatever. And just take a mental note of the number of views of those videos, okay? And then search Antichrist and take a look at the number of views of those. And the views of the Antichrist are far outweigh the views of the Christ videos. And I've even noticed that for myself. I put up videos about my own personal experiences of Maitreya, and some of them are very dramatic. And, you would think that, wow, that really surprised people, right? Well, the video that I put up about the Antichrist revealed from just my group of videos has gotten more videos or more views on that video and more comments on that video than all my other videos nearly combined. Now, why is that? I think part of it, thinking about it, the conclusion I came up with, part of it is, people pretty much already have it in their mind how Jesus is. They've been raised that way or whatever like that. They believe that the way he's going to come back, from the clouds or whatever. So you don't need to search for that. You'll know, we'll all know when he comes back, if he's coming back on the clouds and we hear the trumpets of the angels and so forth. The real question is the Antichrist, right? Who and what the Antichrist is. That's the $1 million question, right? That's why people are searching it so much, because once you see the Antichrist, well, Jesus is right around the corner, right? I'm thinking that's probably what it is. And of course, if you look at it, no matter how absurd the person's claim is of who the Antichrist is, it's always, without exception, somebody who doesn't have the same viewpoint about religion or politics that they have, right? If you're a hardcore Republican and you're looking for the Antichrist out there, and oh my gosh, this African American has become really popular, and oh my God, he just got elected president, right? Well, he must be the Antichrist, Obama. Talking about universal health care. Oh my gosh, that's awful. What could be worse than that? Nothing, right? Of course, dying of cancer and not being, because you can't afford it. Well, that's okay. But universal health care, oh my gosh, that's the sign of the devil, right? And if you're a Democrat, now that Trump's out there and is the president of the United States, of course, he might be the Antichrist, right? Or whatever. If you're a very Christian and very religious and you hear videos such as this about Maitreya or whatever, and you listen to him, or you see these videos of him that were taken in Nairobi, Kenya, when he appeared to that group, and they all saw him as Jesus, but he must be the Antichrist because he's talking about brotherhood and sharing, right? There's nothing worse than those two things, especially in this country. That's communism, right? And, if you were to go back 20 years ago and, you were to talk to those people, well, they thought the world was going to end at, the stroke of midnight on 2000. And then it was Y2K was there, was going to end the world because all the computers were going to go down and you wouldn't have any money in your bank account or whatever like that, or all the power got shut off. And we laugh about it now, but it really was a serious thought for them out there. And if YouTube was around back then, there would be hundreds and hundreds of videos and, millions and millions of views of those videos. But yet when somebody would come out and say, no, it's not going to happen, well, nobody would pay attention to that. They would be paying attention probably to the other one, right? that the world was going to end. People have this morbid fixation on the ending of the world. I mean, it's really kind of almost this illness in a way. And yet you talk about the world getting along and eventually we're going to have brotherhood and sharing and peace. Well, that's just absurd. I mean, there's no way that's ever going to happen. And what else? UFOs, right? For as long as I've heard about the term UFOs or aliens, what comes right behind it is people are convinced that they're here to take us over. They've been abducting us for, decades or whatever, performing all sorts of operations on us, including sticking God knows what into God knows what, if you know what I mean, and in that of the person and so forth. And they're, all the movies that are out there about aliens or whatever taking us over and how they're just here to kill us. But yet every day there's more and more evidence of UFOs in and around the sky and crop designs and crop circles and fields and such. And yet we're still here. Now, which begs the answer to to the same question, but it begs three different answers to the same question about UFOs or aliens or whatever, right? Either A, they don't exist, but there's evidence that they do. So, but let's just assume for the sake of argument that we all believe that they exist. So the other two questions the other two questions or answers about these things, about the aliens is A, either they are here to take us over and they are procrastinating. So they must be the world's or the universe's greatest procrastinators, even more so than myself, right? Which I thought I was a pretty big procrastinator in life. Or they're not here to harm us at all. And they never have been. And they've only been here to kind of help us. And also to wake us up to the fact that there is life on other planets, So you take your pick. Either they're here to harm us and they're really lazy and procrastinating for whatever reason, or they're here not to really harm us at all, right? And then ever since I heard about Maitreya through Benjamin Creme's books, people have been talking about how Maitreya is the Antichrist. He's here to deceive us and so forth and so forth. But yet Benjamin Creme has made the assertion that he is already out on TV. Now, have you seen anybody on TV claiming to be the Christ, that people are assuming he's the Christ, but yet he's here deceiving us and talking about sharing and brotherhood and so forth, and is coming to take us away to concentration camps if you believe in Jesus and so forth? Of course, nothing of the case has happened, right? It's all paranoia. And that's my point. And if you look at sharing, for instance, right, in this country, you talk about the need for sharing the world's resources. You get a pretty mixed response, but it really is centered around either they don't say anything because they don't know what to say, to an outright throwing up their arms and up in the air and getting all in your face about how bad that could be. And yet there was a time when it did happen. Right after World War II, the then Secretary of State, George C. Marshall, came up with a wondrous plan about helping to rejuvenate the economy in Europe. So what did he do? He gave some of the excesses to Europe to help rebuild the economies there. And then as they started to rebuild their economy, well, of course, they had started to get some excesses, and they gave it back as payment to the United States. And it helped to rejuvenate both America and Western Europe. Now, looking at it historically, that's what happened. Now, did it create this ultra police military state in the United States and create a communist state? Of course not. Did the United Nations go and take out money out of people's account whether they liked it or not and gave it to the people in Europe? Of course not. It never happened. And that's my point. The sharing that Maitreya is talking about is the same sharing that happened right after World War II. That can help, instead of it being just for Western Europe, it's for the entire planet. All these countries that need it, from the southern part of Asia to Central and South America to Africa, and other countries, Eastern European countries, for instance, and how it will help not only the economies of the Western world and the developed world, it will also, of course, help the third world, right? The so-called third world. And then getting back to the Antichrist comment, right? people are so scared and they're so, concerned about who the Antichrist is, and they're searching for these, videos, whether these people know what they're talking about or not. But from an esoteric point of view, the Antichrist has already come and gone. It's done its work. It's an energy. It's not a person. And it's deliberately sent out into the world to help destroy the old ways of thinking and relating, which the old ways of thinking and relating, of the past 2,000 years has led to competition, greed, separation, to the point where we're almost destroying ourselves militarily through, our nuclear weapons and so forth. And what's the new way of thinking and relating? Well, cooperation, unity, brotherhood, those kind of things, sharing the world's resources, justice in the world. And yet how totally convinced that if you talk to the average person or you watch these videos about the Antichrist or Maitreya being the Antichrist, they're convinced he is the Antichrist because of the fact that he's using those words. Maybe not on TV now, but through Benjamin Creme, he's spoken saying justice and sharing and so forth, right? And again, if he is here to really deceive us, he has got the worst publicist in the world. People don't even see him on TV. They don't even know he's giving interviews on TV. But you see what I'm saying? And I'm not expecting you to change your religious beliefs. I really am not. I just want to help, shed some light on the fact maybe that if all those fears that we've had, those big fears about the ending of the world, sharing the world's resources, creating communism, or UFOs taking us over, or now, who and what the Antichrist is, if those were really real, they would have already taken place a long time ago. And so maybe, just maybe, it's all in our head, and it's all just fear. So, and as always, take action. Help SOP save our planet. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to talking to you again in future videos. Have a great day.